The scene was shocking. On February 14th, the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, when the Pangdong Light department store in Xuchang, Henan, opened for business for the first time that year, 800,000 people flooded into the mall. Tourists from other places had surrounded the mall 4 hours in advance, leading Pangdong Light to open its doors 20 minutes early for the first time to welcome guests. Customers frantically purchased gold, and jewelry at the gold counter sold out.
There is no fever like gold fever. This is back during the California gold rush, and what it is a scale for weighing gold. I'm telling you, a new gold rush is underway, and China gives me a lot of hope, because where we were watching to see how the government controlled the population, it is the most controlled population. What did we then see when they were pushed, when the public was pushed beyond what they could deal with? We saw the Chinese public start to revolt. And guess what? That changed the rules. The government acquiesced to them. And this is no different. So why are the Chinese rushing to buy gold? And remember, they were allowed to buy gold inside of the system since 2006. They couldn't before that. But that's even held, the banks selling it and held at the banks, physical gold, which is kind of easy to confiscate if you don't hold it, since you really don't own it then. But let's begin, because China sees a $157 billion rout in consumer stocks. Well, a lot of the Chinese have their wealth in stocks, and that, wow, lack of confidence. Interesting. Where else would that ever happen? How about around the whole world? It's legalized robbery. Anger grows at China's struggling shadow banks because it was too good to be true. I don't know. You think that can't happen here? Well, there's a bridge in Brooklyn that I'd love to sell you if that's what you think. And, of course, where most Chinese people hold most of their wealth, and this, again, this is true in the U.S. and other places as well. China scrambles to prevent another big property developer going bust. Uh-oh, the jig is up. The population is starting to see the lie and losing confidence and turning to gold, not just as we saw, but the reality is there is no fever like gold fever.
On February 15th, the 6th day of the Lunar New Year, when the doors opened for the second day, Pangdong Lai continued to be packed to capacity. The gold counter was once again sold out.
800,000 Chinese rushed to buy gold in malls at New Year with worsening politico-economic environment. This is not just happening in the second largest economy in the world. This is happening in every economy in the world, whether people realize it, whether it's overt or whether it's covert. But those people are, more food insecurity, which we just talked about, more of everything that's nasty, and less confidence. Well, confidence. Do you really know what the difference is between this monopoly money, says it right on there, monopoly money, and this, which is legitimate tender from the U.S. government? The difference between these two is confidence. People will use this to work for and as their tool of barter, when in reality, it's no different than this. Just look at the $10 trillion Zimbabwe note. It has no value, not even to buy eggs. So, why is there a gold rush here? Why is there going to be a gold rush everywhere? So you want to get in first. Well, this is really why, because people are losing confidence. Today, I also experienced the scene of people crowding and rushing to buy gold, just like rushing to buy vegetables at the market. And I heard that on the first business day after the Chinese New Year, Pangdong Lai's gold counter was sold out because gold and silver in any form is monetary at its base. Now, What's easiest to liquidate and use? Well, it's all liquid, but obviously coin form, right? Also, it's divisible. Can you see how teeny weeny that is? That's a 20th of an ounce of gold. That's a $1 gold coin. So beyond that, gold beans are all the rage with China's Gen Z as deflation bites. It doesn't matter whether it's inflation or deflation because they are just different sides of the same coin. And there is only one way, not rocket science, one way to fight deflation, which is what we talked about in the beginning. What's happening in their stock market, what's happening in their real estate market, what's happening there in their economy. That is all deflationary. But whether it's deflation or inflation, gold protects you either way. And that's what we're seeing. Gold beans are all the rage with China's Gen Z as deflation bites. Young people look to gold for adornments and investments. And gold sales soar as Chinese seek alternative for nest eggs because the stock market, their private equity market, right? Those shadow banks where they're paying all sorts of interest. I mean, honestly, if something is way above market, when people go out and look for bonds or they look for CDs, they look for the highest rate. Well, if somebody has to pay you more than what you're getting in what is classified as safe assets, it's because you're taking more risk. So you're risking your entire principal for a teeny-weeny pickup of interest. That does not make sense. And once you realize it, once the public realizes it, then they turn to gold because gold is good money and has been for thousands of years. Branded as an investment entry point for young consumers, the beans, which come in glass jars, are the latest hot-selling items in Chinese jewelry stores. Generation Z consumers. This gives me so much hope because it is a younger demographic that is recognizing and acknowledging and protecting themselves with gold. Buffeted by high youth unemployment and the nation's slide into deflation, are now among the top consumers of gold accessories in the world's second largest economy. China Jewelry Consumption Trends report, and the attraction of gold comes as people pull back on shopping amid months of disappointing growth. Well, this is really happening all over the world. Can you see it? Don't you want to be in place before the gold rush? Sales of gold, silver, and jewelry reached a 6-year high in December at 29.4% year-on-year jump. Precious metals now represent one of the fastest growing consumer markets in China, but quite honestly, it should be in the world. It is that simple. And even banks, people are always asking me, well, where are you going to sell this? Where are you going to sell this? Frankly, gold and silver, since they're both used across every single sector of the global economy, it has the broadest base of buyers. And so in the U.S. right now, they don't offer gold, physical gold. They can offer ETFs like Fidelity and those places, but they don't offer physical gold for you to take possession of, because they don't want you to hold it and actually own it outright. They want to use the equity that you have in it for their benefit. Another story for another day. But there's already more than 3,000 places where you can buy or sell gold. That will expand as gold fever heats up. China splurges on gold, so this is the government now, for a 16th month as price hits record, because it's still severely undervalued. Who's going to know that? Maybe the global central banks know that. Maybe that's why even at these levels, after the spot gold breakout, which is just a contract, right? Maybe they know what they're doing to their currencies. They certainly know more than you and I. So why are they buying gold hand over fist at the highest level in recorded history? Because they know if you don't hold it, You don't own it, and the fiat money experiment is at the end. And truthfully, it is that simple. So look at the level of central bank gold purchases. Are they getting into position? And what would they be getting into position for? How about to retain their choices? How about to retain their choices and their rights? When people realize that this has as much value as this. So, help us grow this channel because we need to make this as powerful as possible. We need to build this community on both a local level so that we can survive what's going on and a global level so that we have choices on the other side of this reset into hopefully a financial system that is more fair. And you vote with your wallets. You could keep your money in this garbage, or you can put your money, your hard-earned money, into this stuff. This is my choice. You get to choose on your own. But please, if you like this, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. It really helps the algorithm. But what helps the algorithm even more is if you hit that subscribe button and then hit that bell, because next Tuesday, we are going live and taking questions afterwards. And we're doing that at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, and I think there's a 3-hour time difference. So 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and I think we're on the same time zone as California now. So come and watch us live. Bring your questions. We'll have time for questions after my live report, Headline News with Lynette. And until next we meet, please be safe out there, because together, I know that we can make a positive difference for a lot of people. Join me. Let's make that global change. Bye-bye.